Welcome to episode 11 of the Moms That Read podcast. I'm Katie.
I'm Katarina.
And I'm McKenzie. And today we're going to deep dive and do a little book club of the Shepherd King series, which is One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns.
One of our favorites.
One of our favorites.
Loved it.
Was I the first one to read it?
Yes.
Out of the
I
group?
think I was the last one to read.
Yeah, you were.
Okay. I was completely obsessed the moment. I think this is one of the books that I saw someone's TikTok and they were like, what is one book that you read in like the first 100 pages you knew that it was going to be a 6-star read? And I think this was one of the books. And I was like, absolutely. And since then, I have not been able to read anything even close to the series.
It's so different. And I feel like for me, the first book's always personally better. But Two Twisted Crowns was
better.
like insanely better. Like it was amazing. Like One Dark Window was amazing. Two Twisted Crowns was just another level.
Yes. And I feel the same way about multiple books in a series.
Mhm.
No, that one was icing on the cake.
The last like 150 pages of that book, I literally just could not put down because it was just twist after twist after twist. It's crazy.
So before we deep dive into this, do you want to talk about our recent reads?
Yeah.
So I just finished Metal Slinger and I cannot wait
Patiently waiting for us
some
to read it.
I
On my list forever.
one of y'all to read it immediately.
It's funny
Next.
because when I had put it as my choice for February, you were like, I've never heard of that. And now you're the one that's read it.
Oh my gosh. I ate it up. I read it in 2 days. It's like 500 pages. Knew there was a twist. Still could not guess the twist. It
That's crazy.
shocked me. And it was a good twist.
Oh, I can't wait.
I know I've seen where people have said it's one of the best twists
Ever.
ever.
It's going to be a duology, right?
I don't
Okay,
know what
better
it's
than
gonna
the
be.
Carrie and Swift twist?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. That was a good
Okay.
twist. I would say it's up there.
Okay.
But
This was more shocking.
This was more shocking because
What?
I just didn't see the Carrie and Swift twist coming, but I did not see this coming.
Well, I feel like if someone had said, like, there's a twist with Carrie and then kind of moved on, you could probably put it together.
Right.
Everything I've seen is, like, massive plot twist and no one figures it out.
No, I'm telling you, I was like looking for a twist,
That's crazy.
trying to figure out what it was. No.
Is this her only book? I've never heard of her before.
No, she's reading other books that I've seen, but
this
they
is
were
her first
this
big
is her
one.
first fantasy, I think. I don't know what it is with the people writing fantasies, but they are
Interesting.
coming out killing it.
Love
It's
it.
crazy.
We support it.
Yeah.
Funny you mentioned that because I've seen that a lot on TikTok.
Mhm.
I just finished reading Spark of the Everflame, and hot take, at the moment we were hyped. It was slow paced in the beginning. Love where it's going, but it did not make me want to read the next thing.
So interesting.
I actually love the male main character and I love the female main character, but like, I don't know. It's not set up the same way that most fantasies are set up.
I mean, that's why people like it.
Yeah.
Different.
I want to read the second one just to know where it was going because it did not happen in the first book. So
I read The Situationship, which is a short story by Abby Jimenez from the Part of Your World series.
Yeah.
I absolutely hated it.
wow.
I hated it. Apparently it was a bonus chapter in one of the other 3 books, maybe Part of Your World. So it was only like 25 actual pages.
Mhm.
It was just stupid. And because it was so short, it was a new couple. They had met before, but it was a new couple. And so because it was 25 pages, it was like
So that counts.
the insta love.
She called that a book.
It's called a short story.
What?
It's not good. It's not good. I literally read it in 10 minutes, but like
25 pages would
it wasn't
take a
good.
whole day. So
I read it when I was putting Brooke to bed. That's funny.
So, Shepherd King,
okay. So where do we?
favorite duology ever.
Oh,
I've only read 2, I think. That and Letters of Enchantment.
Divine Rivals.
I never know what she's talking about when she calls a series by like
Its actual
name.
name.
That's so
I know
funny.
the book names.
That's
I
so
never
funny.
know the series name, and it takes me like a minute for it to click. Freakish Letters of Enchantment.
Just the name of the actual series.
Get it now.
That is so funny.
Yeah. I think I'm right. I think you're right too.
I think they're getting more popular. Is Quicksilver a duology?
Has she said?
I don't know if it's.
I don't think
I don't
she
know.
said
I
that.
feel like there's another one that's big that's going to be a duology, and I can't think of what. But I feel like they're like gaining popularity now.
I guess because it's a lot of time to commit to Throne of Glass. Like, there's a lot of series out there that are that size, and I think that's intimidating to a lot of people. And so duologies, I think, like, hey, I only have 2 books, and you can finish a series.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm a checklister kind of person. Like,
Mhm.
feels good to finish it.
Yeah. I literally, one of my questions was, would you have made this a series? 100%. You could do so much with this world.
I think the last 150 pages were done so fast paced that I would not have mind. Like, you had already hooked me, Rachel. I don't care if
Cut it out and then
make it into a
third.
third book. I could have been okay with that because then I really think, and this may be like jumping ahead, but like I really think that Raven and Elsbeth were not given the justice. I did not expect that ending though, because the original book was about Raven and Elsbeth.
Yeah.
And the ending to be with Elm and
Ione.
I was Ione. Oh my god.
I think it's Ione or I don't know how to say it, but it's not Ianthe. That's from Throne of Glass, isn't it?
Akatar.
Oh, Akatar.
I hate Ianthe so much too. She's the worst person in Akatar.
That's funny.
Why do all these names just okay? So I was disappointed because in the first book it was all about Raven and Elsbeth, but the end of the book was more about Ione and Elm, which I was not expecting, especially like full circle moment would not have been at the top of my list.
Honestly, and I might be like the weird one on this, but I feel like because the nightmare was kind of Elspeth most of the book, there wasn't much chemistry between them. And so I did not see, I think they were right for each other, but I didn't see the chemistry between Raven and Elspeth like I did with Elm and Ione.
No,
personally.
agreed.
I think that too.
Agreed.
So it'd be interesting. She could have written a third book where Nightmare is not part of this right now, and they actually get their true love story without him or something. I don't know.
Okay. Well, see, I was reading a bunch of people's 1-star reviews and how much they hated it. Like I was watching TikToks about it. And I think what people are missing, though, in my opinion, is the story was about the nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he was the main plot of the story and like his journey through his life and like the full circle moment of him finally like letting go from what he did with the 12 cards and the things that he gave up. Like, I truly think he was the purpose of the whole story. And like Elsbeth was obviously just a vessel of that, which that made her kind of like a side plot with her and Raven. Like, I truly believe it was all about like his redemption.
Yeah, 100%. And I liked him.
I did too. I really liked the nightmare. I liked all his poems.
I did too. I loved all his poems. I know some people said that if they didn't like the poem.
I've heard that too.
Oh, didn't someone read? Didn't you
The
read
ones
the one-star review? It was a poem.
It was a poem.
I thought it was adorable. I loved it.
I loved it too.
It took me a few chapters to figure out what was really going on with that though, because it was always he had the card at the beginning of every chapter, and I was like, "What is this?" But once you figure it out, you're like, "Oh my gosh!" It's like, that makes so much
listening
sense.
to it. I was listening to it, and like it would always sound. They would read it differently, and the person's voice was great. I loved it. Like, it was a really good audiobook.
See, I just love that at the end, like, you find out that the nightmare, like, isn't bad. He's not, it wasn't bad. He was just trying to right a wrong, and he, like, treated Elspeth like his daughter. And I freaking love that.
Oh, yeah. I feel like his magic system, though, was taken down a really bad road.
Yeah.
The actual king.
Right. Which I feel
and
like
that made him look bad
all the time. Stuff like that.
I loved the magic system. I love it.
I was about to say the magic system, and I loved like how it was set up. Like, only a select few of children got sick, and if they got sick and survived, like a very small percentage of them were okay, but the other part got magic. Like, and I love that it always talked about like in magic in nature, like magic always demanded a balance, which I thought was so interesting with the sickness.
Everything comes with a price.
Everything comes with a price.
Yes. Do we want to go through each of them?
The more you pay.
Hey, rhymer.
I feel like that was big on the maiden. The more you use the maiden, the more it really like changes you. I guess we can go through each of them and like talk about the different powers and stuff. So the 12 card was the Black Horse, which was the master of combat. But if you overused it, it made you weak.
And he had to sacrifice a horse to get it.
Yeah.
So like there was something he had to give up
in order to
get
the power
in return. But then if you used too much, there was a consequence to it, which
I'd be scared to use any of it.
I would be
because I'd be like, what is it going to take from me?
Right.
Is it worth giving up whatever? Is it worth using the power right now for something small?
Right.
For something large long term?
Okay.
11 was the golden egg, which was great wealth, but it could turn into all-consuming greed.
Yeah. I could see that.
I feel like that's kind of life in general.
Yeah, I feel like
I had the golden egg.
I don't remember.
Because I wonder.
That one was a big one. I feel like
know what the cards, like all of the cards. Like, I wonder if like the original people who had the cards was that to like portray, foreshadow like what those characters were going to be like.
Yeah.
I don't remember who had the golden egg though.
Either. That one didn't play a huge part.
Because if it was Elspeth's uncle, that would make sense.
Yeah.
He was so obsessed with gaining power and
Yeah.
like
Kaylee's looking it up. She's going to Google it. We'll come back to that. It was the Prophet, which was glimpses of the future, but it makes users helpless to change the future. Which I feel like
that's just kind of like
in most fantasy books, if you can see it, you can't do anything about it.
Oh,
So,
Elspeth was the one that possessed the golden egg.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, is that the one that her father gave her?
Oh, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is interesting. All right, 9 is the White Eagle, which is courage, but also fear. I don't feel like that was a big one, was it? No, the White Eagle.
Oh, the white. No, I don't think I heard.
I don't remember hearing about that one. Yeah.
Anybody with the White Eagle?
8 was the Maiden. That one played a huge part.
Yeah.
Great beauty, but it chills its user's heart, which is obviously what happened to Ione.
Mm-hmm.
And realized that it could actually save you.
I'm just tripping.
Yeah.
Her name's Ione because I've been calling her like Eon.
I called her Ione.
What?
I don't know.
She's a part of the periodic table.
Good. I feel like that one was one of the biggest ones in the whole book.
Yeah.
'Cause it literally,
That one, the nightmare, and
the scythe.
The scythe, yeah, because that one was what the king used.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which one did Raven had? He had a scythe card, right?
He had the dark.
Yeah.
He had the black horse. He had a scythe.
Most of the king's people had scythes.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with the maiden card, like, I was truly surprised when Ione betrayed Elspeth so quick. Like, that really kind of took me by surprise. I was like, wait, she's already, like, why is she wanting to get close to the prince?
Well, you're made to love her at the beginning of the book. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she was one of my favorite characters at the beginning of the book, and she all of a sudden, like, turns bad, and you're like, what the heck? And then you realize it's because of the power that's, like, binding her.
Right.
It's so interesting. I love that. I don't know. I love that part, though. Number 7's the chalice, which turns liquid into truth serum, but it turns truth serum into poison.
Yeah.
What? Say that again?
It turns liquid into truth serum.
Yeah.
So, like, you could give them wine or whatever, and it would turn it into truth serum, but then it turns truth serum into poison. If you use too much of it, I guess, it turns poison.
I really liked the scene when they were all at the table and they were basically playing that game. Like, that was really good.
Like roulette, basically.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to get it?
Yeah. And who's going to spill their guts first.
Yeah, that was interesting. 6 is the well, which is clear sight to recognize one's enemies, but you could be betrayed by a friend.
I feel like that's just like a natural consequence. Like,
a lot of these kind of are.
See all of your enemies, like, someone is going to betray you.
Yeah.
Who had the well
would
card?
Be nice to know, if like
Let me Google again.
Because like now I wish I had like thought about like who had possession originally, because it probably would have contributed to a lot about their character.
I don't like rereading, but this would be an interesting one to reread. Knowing everything I know.
Yes.
To be like, okay.
Is revealed to be the owner of the well card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because he is truly the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Like if you knew going back who had what card, you could also pull out certain things that you didn't catch the first time.
He eventually gives it to Elspeth while she is recovering from a poisoning. Because remember, they needed the well card was one of the ones they needed.
Yeah.
Right.
Number 5 is the Iron Gate, which is serenity. No matter the struggle, it steals years from one's life.
Oh.
All right. Number 4 was the Scythe, which that was a huge one. Yes. The power to control others, but great physical pain. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Where like they couldn't overuse it, or they would be like
the one
writhing in pain.
Had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was
then they like Raven. Their nose would start bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
They were using it too long, but
Hoth had that too.
Yeah.
Yes, but when they were trying to use it was when they were trying to like stop Hoth, and they
was never affected by it because he also used the maiden card.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, you're right. Reads the mirror with invisibility, and it lifts the veil between worlds, exposing a world of ghosts.
Yeah, but then Raven intentionally used it whenever they were trying to save Elspeth.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. The Nightmare. There too. It allows its user to speak into the minds of others, but it reveals one's deepest fears.
That one was insane.
That one was insane.
Because then, like, when you think about Elspeth's power, Like, her power was to absorb the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if she had absorbed any other card. Like, why was the nightmare, like, given that persona? I don't know.
What?
Did the nightmare get trapped in the card?
I think he like was the cards.
Well, he was the creator of the cards. Yeah. But I don't
Because
know.
then he was killed. And was that his, like, punishment?
I think he just like, that was his like soul, like waiting in the cards.
Right.
To come out, and then it found out his past.
Because you remember the scene when Raven saw Tilly, his daughter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, tell him we're waiting on him.
Mm-hmm.
So like he had never
Right.
gone on. He was just waiting, I guess, for Elspeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have the twin alders, the power to commune with Blunder's ancient entity, the spirit of the wood, and no one knows what the consequence was because no one had done it.
Yeah, no one had ever.
Which was interesting.
Isn't the spirit of the wood the animal thing that she saw when she was trying to retrieve the last card?
Yeah.
That was a very interesting concept to me. And just like that whole process of the spirit of the wood itself.
Speaking of, like, whenever they went to go get the twin alders, did it, like, mind boggle anybody else that Raven was a descendant of the nightmare?
Yes.
Tripped me out.
And honestly, I couldn't even figure out how.
It was one of Nightmare's sons did not get killed by the king.
Yes.
And so
it was a grandson or great-grandson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I wrote it down. His oldest son lived, and he has the power to destroy cards, the scythe, and the nightmare. And so that was passed down to Raven, who was one of his descendants.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I really wish we would have been able to like dive more into Raven's story.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like even though Elm was in the second book, I feel like I knew him so much more than I knew Raven.
I feel like I said, she needs to give us a novella, like something, or a couple of novellas, or a whole nother book.
Of like post, not prequel, but like a post story. Like
or
what
like,
actually happened.
honestly, even a pre-story and a post-story.
Yeah. She has a new book coming out, and I guess it's a new series. So I wonder if she's not going to work on this.
The Night and the Moth.
Comes out on my birthday.
In May. I'm so excited about that.
I know.
There's so much anticipation surrounding the release of this book.
Was it Erica with the CK? Someone just opened it and started reading it.
What?
I was like, oh, I don't remember who it was. But I was like, gosh,
oh,
I want
like
that.
Hands on that right
now.
Yeah. I know. Novella.
Okay, so going back to the cards, if you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
I put the chalice or the maiden card.
Oh.
Because I would like to, truth serum some people. But I also, like, not even the maiden just for, like, the beauty, but just for, like, the protection of it.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I would pick the maiden because it's almost like invincibility, too. Because they basically used it to, like, fix things about themselves internally even that could have killed them.
Right.
Which, that was a twist I was not expecting. Because when you look at it, it looks like it's, like, surface level.
Yeah, but no, it's, like, everything.
Yeah.
And that's not something that they told anybody.
No, that was wild.
I think I understand the Nightmare's motivation, though, because there are parts of all of these that I would be like, ooh, yeah, I want to use that.
Oh, yeah.
I want to use that.
Well, which one would you pick?
If I had to pick one, I like the maiden idea. I like the invincibility.
The scythe's kind of cool, too.
I do like the scythe, like being able to control people.
If you could just do it in, like, short doses where, like, just enough where you wouldn't get the pain.
I think I would go with the scythe.
Yeah.
I like that one, yeah.
I saw where everyone is comparing Elm in the second book to Dorian.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
Okay.
Elm, probably why we love him so much, to be honest.
I feel like I didn't have a connection with him that much in the first book, but then I absolutely fell in love with him in the second book. He was just perfect.
He was like another loved the side character more than the main character.
Oh.
Yes. Well, and I feel like he saw through Ione's, the maiden, and he was like, I know this is not who you actually are.
Right.
We just need to get to the bottom of this. And she was not nice to him.
No, but when he talked about like remembering her when he was young and like in the woods, I was like, oh,
and he loved the gap between her teeth and
stop.
like,
okay, Taylor Swift. When I read that, two things ran through my mind. One, all of those Maybelline commercials The makeup one.
Gosh. And like
Hate a tooth gap.
Tyra Banks on America's Next Top Model.
I hate a tooth gap.
I really do. You know who had one?
I hate Taylor Swift for saying, I love the gap. Like, oh my, no, you don't, Taylor. No, you don't. We don't love.
You know who I think of is Zac Efron. Have you seen his old pictures where he had the gap? Oh my gosh. Before he got himself like all prettied up.
During High School Musical?
Not cute. Right before.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why.
See if I can find it.
Ain't no Troy Bolt.
Oh.
There with a gap in there.
Toast.
Okay. And also, Hoff is Jack Barlow.
Oh.
Because
Absolutely.
he would not die.
He would not die.
Jack Barlow does.
Attacked Elsbeth in that room.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
I hated him.
I was so mad. The uncle leading her up there.
Yeah.
The moment that the uncle was like trying to be all buddy, I was like, oh no, this is not going to go well.
Mm-mm.
Not going to go well. And then like just Raven, like his emotion and not being able to like go to her.
Oh, God.
Okay, Ione. Put the gap away.
I hate the gap. Stick your tongue through it.
Did that just come out of Katarina's mouth? I was not ready for that. Oh, God.
Oh, I hate it.
To keep that in.
Hate it.
You are not editing that out. You are not editing that out. Oh, my God.
Gross.
She's flabbered my gas like twice today.
Twice? What else did I say?
You only read dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh. Whatever.
Where were we even at?
Jack Paul, same person.
I liked how it
At least
did that.
he did die. Jack is still alive.
That's what I'm saying.
Worse.
Yeah.
Personally.
So
It's horrible. Yeah.
We've only got to see snippets of Jack. We
And I was gonna say there's 2 more books. He could have. I don't think he gets redeemed, but maybe he's not quite as bad as we think.
Well, at the end, I'm just happy that Hoth died, and then Elmo's the king with Eo.
Also, his name is Hoth, which y'all don't watch Star Wars, but that's like a planet.
I've never
Star Wars.
Star Wars. No,
It's not spelled the same, but that's what I thought of every time I read that, and I was like, I just can't get past
Bad
this.
Planet.
Does nobody like it?
I can't remember
Does
actually.
it die?
I need to look. But sorry.
I don't even know. I think that's all I got.
Do we want to read some one-star reviews?
Oh yeah, let's read it.
The one thing that bothered me a bunch with the one-star reviews is that people, one, they said that they predicted it. Shook me because
Absolutely
nothing
not.
about this book I could predict.
No.
There was nothing I could have predicted.
No.
So I have no idea where that.
Also, the people who DNF'd this book, like, what more could you ask for out of a book? Because like this book checked so many boxes.
Oh yeah.
It was so good. Like,
Yeah.
suspense, check. Completely unique magic system, check. Character development, check.
I feel like it's
Romance,
really
check.
hard. Yeah. I feel like it's really hard too to find truly unique magic systems.
Right.
But like the cards, like, and even having to tap it like 3 times specifically for it to work, and then being able to do that to someone else's card.
So
That was
unique.
crazy because you could manipulate other people by tapping their card.
Right.
You know.
True.
And I thought that was crazy.
I just I think people, if it's not your cup of tea, you're not gonna want to read it.
I do feel like this is
Someone
not
just commented and said DNF. That's it.
I feel like I could not suggest this to everyone because I feel like you have to have a really certain type of interest in gothic fantasy to like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like someone who just kind of likes fantasy, I would not say no this. Like I'd be like, read Powerless, read Fourth Wing.
Right.
Even Metal Slinger was a good intro to fantasy.
Okay. But not this one. No. So I loved it.
It was very gothic. I will say that, yeah.
I would give it to someone who's like, I want to dive a little more into it because I don't think it's overly deep in the fact that like there was a ton of world building. Like you can pick up on it really quickly, but I would not suggest it to everyone.
So this person said, you know what? They quoted, nothing is free, nothing is safe. Magic always comes at a cost. She said, you know what other thing came at a cost? Straining my poor back and neck so hard by keeping myself from falling over while reading this boring book. But this is my problem. Look how long this review is. They went through plot holes, bland and boring world, a logical story, unlikable and dull characters, and final thoughts.
You clearly...
If I asked for a 5-paragraph read and response, I would have. But like,
that's crazy.
just say you don't like the book.
Yeah. And move on. If I wanted to read a book with stupid rhyming poems every chapter, I would read Dr. Seuss. And it would be much more interesting, substantial, and serious than this. The dude's name is Raven, bruh.
I say bruh. Wish I had my own nightmare to take over my mind so I could forget this painfully boring book.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
I thought this said mustache, and then I couldn't read the rest because it's in a different language.
Okay, this one says, beware disappointment and shoddy refrain, poetic but lacking, though attempts were hard made. I wanted to like it, I read it, I tried, but ultimately failed to make this one vibe. This one talks about insta-love between Elspeth and Raven, too.
What?
I
don't think there was
either.
insta-love.
That's so interesting. A phone book would be more intriguing.
Stop. No, it would not.
I hate reviews like that.
Ugh.
I wish I had my own nightmare to take over my mind so I could completely forget this painfully boring book.
It was not bad.
I loved it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this one's good too. It says, dude, if you already knew who Nightmare is, seriously, what the heck? He's supposed to be a 500-year-old legendary, wise, and feared entity, but they're calling him Parasite. Because of a romance, he's meant to be terrifying, someone who strikes fear into both the characters and us as readers. Instead, this portrayal is just so cringy. Where's the sense of dread and power we're supposed to feel?
Oh my gosh.
I loved it. That is insane. We loved it, so you definitely should try it. Ignore the 1-star reviews because we all loved it. It was great.
Pay attention to people who just hate. Haters gonna hate.
It was great.
All
right, bye y'all.
Guys.